if I'm able to fight for you and get the number that you want, are you in a position and ready to sell, right? Are you in a position to make that decision? Now, let's say the seller started at 261. And when a seller tells us, hey, I want 261 for the house, where do you think they got that number? That's a question. Where do you guys think that they got the 261 number?
Got it from Zillow.
Yeah, straight from Zillow, right? If they told you 261, you know for a fact that they looked at Zillow to see what the house might be worth. 261, huh? Right? If they're grounding right around that number that Zillow's giving us, that's exactly what's giving them their ask price, right? Well, in some cases, Zillow might be a tiny bit off, right? Zillow's numbers could be a little bit higher, or they could be a little bit lower than that actual home might be worth. So it could actually work in our advantage in some cases, right? But we want to pay attention to that. So seller's price to us, 261, right? This could be your response. Hey, Mr. Seller, I feel like, that number could be really close. However, I don't have authorization to go quite that high on price. I was given an offer range between, 215 and 234, right? Kind of between these two numbers. Now keep in mind, this would be an all cash offer. You wouldn't have to pay any real estate commissions or any of that. So if you think about it, 261, let's say you listed the house on the market and you got 261, you'd still have to pay your real estate agent 6% commission, right? So what would that be? If you actually if you had to pay that all out, 261,000 times 0.06 equals that 6% that we were talking about. That equals 15,000, right? So that's how much they pay out in commissions, 15,660. So if you took that off of 261, that's what? 261 minus 15 would be 246. 246.6 is what they might walk with, best case scenario, right? But again, if we just really stressed like our process, like, hey, we'll buy the house in as is condition. You don't have to put new paint, new flooring, or anything. Like we're willing to take it as it gets. That's going to help to really incentivize the seller to want to maybe go with us, right? Especially if we have good rapport built. So really the sales approach can be different, depending how we really want to frame it and structure it. But, I think in most cases, we usually want the seller to give us their price first, right? And they're not always going to give that. So if they don't give their price first, right, we just come in with like, hey, Mr. Seller, so this is us trying to pull the price out, right? This is what we're going to say. Hey, Mr. Seller, if I were to, well, let's just say that, hey, Mr. Seller, did you have a price in mind that you were hoping to sell your house for? Right, so that's our first initial offer, or our first initial approach to try to get them to give us their number. Right now, if they don't give an offer, they're like, hey, I'd like to, you called me. What are you offering me? In that case, we'd be like, okay, give me one moment to, look at the area. Bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and look at the market and see what houses that are similar to yours are selling. Right? So we just go to Zillow, go here. Now, our goal is to already kind of have a rough ballpark of the numbers together and just be like, based on the numbers that I am seeing, houses your area seem to be selling between, and we'll just say like just above that 0.8, right? It's between 2, or we could even just say 208. That would be our bottom number. 2, and let's just say like 10,000 above this, 244,000. And then we could just say, would you agree? We want to get their answer, right? So based on what I'm seeing, it looks like houses are selling between 208 to 244, right? I just went 10 above this. And then we say, hey, would you agree with this, right? And just wait for their response. And based on their next response to this question, we can really figure out if we think that we might actually be able to make something work, right? We give them a ballpark range at the bottom and then just above our maximum allowable offer, right? And then we just wait to see what they might be willing to offer. So that's
the
really,
max.
yeah. What are your thoughts with this, Alfred?
Yeah, because on the realtor.com, it's kind of high, right?
It is high.
Yeah,
It is high.
yeah, we can do, you're correct, 244. So that's the max that we can offer.
Yeah, so I would say I'd like to stay with that as the max, but let's say the seller's dead set on that 261 number, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say, in this situation, seller is asking 261. No lower. That's what the seller's saying. Hey, I'll take 261, no lower. In that case, I would always say this, right? And that's actually going to bring us to this stage, right? So if the seller's really dead set on that 261 number for whatever reason, I would always lead with this. Hey, I feel like we're really close. However, I don't have authorization to go quite that high on price. Let me go ahead and call the underwriting department to see if I can get approval on this one to go up on price for you. If I'm able to fight for you and get the number that you want, are you in a position and ready to sell, right? Are you in a position to make that decision, right? And just wait on that. Now that in itself can probably be one of the most powerful tools for closing more of these deals, especially if we're like a little bit on the line and we're not sure if it's a deal, right? Have this conversation. Hey, Mr. Seller, thank you so much for giving me the price. I feel like we're really close here. However, I don't have authorization to go quite up that high, right? The number that they gave me was a little bit below this, but I'll tell you what. Give me an opportunity. Let me go call the underwriting department and see if I can get approval to go up just a little bit on price. If I'm able to fight for the number that you want, are you in a position to make a decision, right?